We're continuing on playing with the reel-to-reel pattern. So in today's video, we're going to focus on the counter shoulder in. Last video we were working on the shoulder in, as that's the main focus. Today it's the counter shoulder in. This is each one's a little progressing on into it being a bit more difficult. So with the counter shoulder in, it's just taking it to the outside. We're going to start off here just with a few counter bends first. So I'm just walking straight ahead, and I'm just going to, as I come around the turn, I'm going to counter bend. That's just bending to the outside as I ask my horse to turn to the inside. So we made a nice turn, so we'll do that again here. I'm going to counter bend, so just tipping her neck to the outside as I ask her to come to the inside. And this actually prepares you for your leg yield. And so now I can turn that into a leg yield, coming down and across, diagonaling here. She's slightly bent away from the direction of travel. And then once I get to the circle, I'm going to first start off with just riding the circle. Then I'm going to change the bend to the outside into a counter bend. So I tip the nose to the outside slightly while I ask her to keep on the circle to the inside. So you first want to be able to just get the bend happening to the outside. We've been doing the shoulder in was to the inside. Now we're getting to the outside. So now I'm going to head down the rail. And again, I'm just looking for a counter bend here. She's just bending away to the outside, away from the direction of travel here, even though we're going straight ahead here, and then it's just to the outside of the arena. Now I'm going to do a counter bend as I come around the corner, and then I'm going to allow her to go straight ahead. And then this is kind of the relaxed area here. Now I'm going to do a bend to the outside and do a counter bend around the corner here and turn that into a leg yield. So asking her to keep her body fairly parallel to the long wall there and just diagonaling over across here. And now as I come to the circle, if I need to, I'll ride the circle just straight ahead on the circle. But we're doing good, so now I'm going to just bend her to the outside, put her in a counter bend. And can I walk a nice circle while she's bent to the outside? So my weight slightly shifted to the inside while her head and neck are slightly tipped to the outside. It doesn't have to be a lot here. Particularly on the circle, it doesn't take a whole lot. So if you're having trouble with this, that might be one of the things you're doing, is bending too much. Now I'm going to go down the rail here and turn it into a counter shoulder in. So here I'm going to add a little inside leg. It's inside leg to the band, outside to the arena. And ask her to create a little angle. So I get a little crossover there as I come around the turn. And then I'm going to go straight ahead, allowing her to just kind of have a little relaxed time here. And then counter bend into a leg yield here. Just keeping it nice and relaxed and soft. And so it's all kind of slow going here at the walk, but that's okay. I want you to take your time into this. Now I get to the circle, and I'm going to pick up a trot and start showing you it at the trot now. So just first getting a nice rhythmic trot, and then I'm going to do some bends to the outside. And that was good. Now I'm going to do a counter shoulder in to the outside. And that's pretty nice. And if you need to spend a little more time, like I just went right from a trot into a counter bend into a counter shoulder, you need to spend more time in the counter bends, that's fine. Go, do that. Don't get in a hurry with the counter shoulder in. So here I come around. Now I change the bend to the outside as I come around. So I'm counter bending here. If I need to do a whole circle, I can. She's just tipping her nose to the outside, asking her to stay on the circle here. Now as I come through the green cone and the fence, I turn it into a counter shoulder in. So my shoulders are rotated to the outside. She's bent to the outside, her hind end comes off the rail slightly, and you have a crossover. Make my turn there, give her straight ahead here, give her a little break, do a little counter bend here as I come around the corner, turn that into a leg yield. That turns into a counter bend, which is nice. As I come through the cones now, I'm going to actually turn it into a counter shoulder in. So I'm going to ask her to bring her hind end into the circle a little bit. This is a little more difficult. And then I take that down the rail. So counter shoulder in, my shoulders are rotated to the outside. I shift my weight slightly to the inside and I activate my inside leg. It's the leg between the fence and the horse. And it's the inside leg because it's the inside of the bend, but it's the outside to the arena. So here, change the bend to the outside, get a little counter bend first, and then I'm going to turn that into counter shoulder in as I come through the red cones here. So I rotate my shoulders to the outside, ask her hind to step in, and then I take that down the rail. Yeah, and that was nice. She got real rhythmic there. And that's what we're looking for, is for the horse to go from a counter bend into a shoulder in. And here I'm going to change the bend from a shoulder into a counter bend. And then at the red cone, I'm going to turn it into a counter shoulder in. There's a counter shoulder in there. Lost my rhythm a little bit, but I'm going to say, hey, keep it up there. And then we turn it into a counter shoulder in down the rail. Make my turn, straight ahead. Counter bend here into a leg yield. Right into a counter shoulder in. See how I made it a little more difficult because I didn't do any counter bend. It just went from one right into the other, into the other. And I was really happy with that because she was able to maintain, yeah, there was a little bit of a rhythm interrupt here and there, but she found it again. I helped her through that. And that's what we're really looking for, is can you go from one transition to the next, whether it's speeding up or slowing down, and then one bend to the next, because that's really another form of a transition. Because they're having to change their band, which changes their balance. And so they have to learn to balance left and right when you're changing the band. When you're speeding up and slowing down, that's more of a front to back balance. So that's just a little distinction there. So that's how you can start to play with the counter shoulder in, counter bands in the reel-to-reel pattern. Go out there, have fun. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.